welcome to another episode of G.R.I.T Parent. I am your host, creator, Khadijah Smith. I created G.R.I.T Parent for two audiences. First, for parents, to foster those independent, real-life, critical thinking skills that our children will need outside of the home and outside of schools. Will it benefit both? Absolutely. But the strategies that I give will extend far beyond the classroom and the home. Second, for educators, just as another resource to give your parents as to what strategies that they can do, what things that they can implement in the home that will help you in the classroom and definitely help them in life. So if this sounds like something that you are interested in, please like, share, subscribe, and keep on watching. Up next, another episode of G.R.I.T Parent.
Home, sir. Louis, sir.
Good. Hey.
Hi, G.R.I.T Mom here. We're back with G.R.I.T Parent, and I'm here with one of my favorite educators. She currently teaches at my school, and this is her last year. She's going on to have more entrepreneurial endeavors. She's a phenomenal English and math, early elementary to mid-level, all the way pre-K 2 through 8th grade. She has taken on tutoring. This is Miss Andrea Webb.
Hello.
So tell us a little bit about the company that you're starting and how this educator, journey just started for you.
So I've always known that my passion is children. I've never been able to figure out anything else that I would do more and enjoy more in this world than working with children. But particularly the education and being a resource to families and parents. And I'm a trained school counselor as well. So I've been in education now for 13 years. So what I decided, and prayer and time, trying to figure it out, is what could I do that will allow me to still, explore my passion and serve in children or the ministry, So my business will involve advocacy and tutoring. So we're starting with the tutoring portion June 11th. I'll be tutoring all summer through next school year. And the advocacy part will be the piece that I pick up as the school year begins again for parents who are just dealing with how to support their child. Parents sometimes just don't know. And I love to be a resource and the connector between the school and the parent.
What's also amazing is that she is a parent of 2 and 1 on the way.
Yes.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So I just, a lot of the times we can hear from educators, but I wanted to hear from a mom that is an educator that's actually doing this work. So as we begin to talk about summer slide, parent, you've heard this term several times, but we're going to break it down on what you can do so your children do not get caught up in the summer slide, or don't become a victim of the don't fall victim of summer slide. So right now we're just gonna define summer slide. How do you define summer slide?
So some call it summer slide, summer loss, summer slump, but what we like to create is summer leaps. So what we understand summer slide to be as educators, which is one of the greatest problems we see when students return to school, is that they've lost about 2.5 months of what they've learned in that time.
Yeah.
Because summertime is spent hanging with your family, traveling, wonderful, which are all wonderful experiences, but we miss out on enrichment, academic enrichment. So making sure that they're still reinforcing those math skills.
Yeah.
Making sure that they're still reading and comprehending what they're reading.
Right.
So that is what summer slide, slump, or loss is in educator terms.
Perfect. So we could, as educators, explain to teachers, like, what resources can you give to your parents, but we're just going to give you 5 quick tips to avoid summer slide loss. For your students when you're at home, this is the most impactful time for parents, right? Because we have more time with our children, we have more time to engage with them. So why not incorporate some academics to avoid the summer slide? So we have 5. So what is the first one that you have?
So we'll start with the first one, creating a schedule. If you are privileged to be able to stay home with your child at any point in the summer, if you take off of work for a week, if you're there, or if you're there for most of the summer, you want to create a schedule. A schedule is a very important part of creating a consistent environment for your child, because when they return to school, they'll need to be back on a schedule. So it makes it easier for you and for them, as well as for the educators, for them to already have a system that has been created at home that parents have communicated with any caregiver. So if they're going away for a week with auntie, though auntie may not do the workbooks, there are still academic things that your child can do during that time, and they can still adhere to the schedule. So when we're looking at the schedule, you want to make sure that the top of the day, because the child's brain is most open during that time, is the time in which you do any learning activities. So I tell parents, if you do even as little as 30 minutes a day, that's phenomenal. But if you can get 2 in and you break it up and you make it fun, allow them to enjoy whatever it is that they're doing. We like to say, we'll get there in point number 5.
But what kind of academic resources, if I'm a parent, I'm trying to create a schedule, trying to figure out what to put in the schedule, like what kind of academic resources do you recommend within that schedule? Like maybe 30 minutes of what exactly?
So my favorite, tested and approved by teacher and mommy and auntie, is Summer Bridges. I love the Summer Bridges workbook because it allows the transition to bridge from grade to grade. So what you would do is you can look on Amazon, and that's where I've gotten mine many times, is look for the grade that your child is going to. For my sons, I always get both. So if my son who's going to first grade, I get him kindergarten to first grade, and then I'll also get him first grade to second grade, just because he may not get through every single page in that whole summer, but it has stickers once they finish a lesson, which they're eager to earn. And as well as, we can decide on what we want them to earn. There may be ice cream. There may be an ice cream treat in there for them if they're using Summer Bridge. But Smart Alec is another resource. If we're just talking, is a great resource, if we're just talking about workbooks.
Yeah.
There's also education.com where you can print off worksheets for free if there's a particular area where your child needed enrichment from the school year. So there are also pages, websites online that I'll provide where you can print pages off instead of ordering a workbook.
Well, thank you. So we're just going to head on to number 2, which is
enroll in an academic summer program. If there's something your child can do for 2 weeks or 4 weeks in the summertime where they're not only having fun and doing something that they enjoy, swimming, basketball, etc., there's also math, science, reading, STEM, whatever there is available in your area. Again, on your way to work, you could drop them off, or if there's a camp that is in your region where you just want to find out if there's something that's academic, that rather than them just kind of doing athletics and recreation all day.
Great. The third tip for avoiding summer slide would be
individual tutoring. So we talked about the academic enrichment program, which is great for a whole group experience where they get to discuss and hear how other students think and get that, because children learn that way as well. But there's a particular area, whether it be math, reading, science, etc., whatever it is your child struggled with during the school year, I encourage you to get an individual tutor. Because children benefit from one-on-one. I've seen it personally with my youngest son. Every summer I'm like his personal tutor, and each year when he returns to school, the teacher is like, wow, because they look at the results at the end, and they notice that they had struggles with this, but that one-on-one experience just works wonders for him.
I'm so glad you said that, because I think a lot of times people think that even our children don't need support. And even our children, even teacher children, need support. Me and my son, back and forth with trying to gain academics and programs. So just because we're teachers doesn't mean we don't have our children going through the same academic challenges or some academic challenges. So I'm so glad that you touched upon that, because that is so crucial.
Absolutely. And number 4, use your public library as a resource. There are book clubs. It's free. They have so many programs in your public library that you can benefit from. Again, it's free. So you go, you choose the book. And one thing that I learned, I attended a conference at the U.S. Department of Education on summer loss. And I met an amazing librarian by the name of Nan Carmack. And she created this form. It was a Summer Thrive plan. And the first question she said to ask your children is, what are you an expert at? And that blew my mind, because people don't think of children as experts, but they are.
Yes,
so when you think about it that way, and you allow your child to say, what am I an expert at? That summer experience is truly all about them. So parents, you don't have to figure out what to do. Your child has already told you, I'm an expert at rocks. Do you know how much you can do with allowing your child to explore rocks locally, finding out what other resources, museums, what the library has, what books are there, what stories are about rocks, so you can use comprehension, where rocks, let's collect these rocks and create number stories. There's so many things. You're tying in math and science and reading and everything in one. So this is Nan Carmack. Again, she's with the Library of Virginia. and this is her Summer Thrive Plan. So this is just another resource that I want to share with parents.
I can post that in the link below, so I'll have a copy of that if you would like to download that for your child. Awesome. And the last but important tip is,
we are in the technology age.
Yes, we are.
But everything that we do does not have to involve technology.
Ooh, hallelujah.
So if you think about your child's classroom, your teacher is not teaching behind a computer, and your computer is not teaching your child. So you want to make sure that your electronic devices and Starfall, which I love, and ABC Mouse, which are amazing, and all these electronic device, the apps on these electronic devices that are available for learning, they are an academic resource, but they should not be the primary resource used.
I think you should say that again, because we don't want to do, and we encourage parents to definitely get apps and those kind of things, but that is not what school is. And unfortunately, your child does not get that as their primary source of learning in a school setting. So if they've been doing that all summer, and then they have to come to a teacher
who's still and not constant motion and not different sounds
and not
music.
Copying, next, here, start, bop. We're not these robots. And because that is the case, you don't want to get your child so acclimated with all these pictures, and don't believe it's wonderful, but it's not their real life. So I completely, oh my God, please say that one more time.
Our electronic devices cannot be our primary learning device.
But I think there's so many other things. There's coloring. It's not just, what kids can engage and create. There's so many other things. You learn about your child this summer.
Yes.
You learn about how they learn. If they're good listeners, do they pay attention?
Can they follow multi-step?
Oh my God.
How long is their attention span?
You should know when your teacher tells you something about your child, you should already know it. Like, oh yeah, I know. That's me. That's my child. Like, it shouldn't be a surprise to you because you're engaging so much. Use this time to engage with your child. The summer is such a good time to, I know they've been at school for 8 hours of the day, 6 hours for some, but this is the time to really get to know your child as a learner, as a person, because they learn through play, and they, you become that primary source of information now, and you have a lot to impart on your child. Even if you never went to school, life is school.
Life is school. And here's the thing. When your teachers send home the All About My Child in the beginning of the year, and if they don't, I encourage you to still have a sheet ready. You want to be able to inform them about, my child is able to focus for about this long, my child's interests are in this, and my child triggers are this, my child works best with praise, some children work best under pressure. So that's the type of information that summer allows you to gain about your child, as your child is gaining just a plethora of knowledge through the structure that you've created.
So any lasting information or any words of encouragement? Because this is a long summer and it's a different change of pace when you're with your child all of the time. It's a different change of pace. We're not saying don't have fun. I do believe that there should be
those vacations, those field trips, just that time at home together, again, that conversation, those are valuable moments with your child. So we don't say summer should be learning, but we do want to change this summer slide, this summer loss, to a summer leap, where the children are making leaps and bounds in areas where the people in the school who saw them last may not have imagined happening. So the power is in your hands. God has given you everything that you need. Mrs. Webb is here. So my number.
How can we contact you?
So my information will be provided to Miss Khadijah.
It's also below.
Yes. Here at your service for your child, pre-K 3 to 3rd or 4th grade. Again, it's support in reading, math, homework help once the school year returns, study skills, and I love to pour in the child. So we're going to do some character development and some self-esteem building in the process.
I don't know if you know, my school is going through tremendous loss by her not having her as an educator. She is amazing. If you know anybody in this area, they will tell you need to see Miss Webb. So we're losing a great resource, but I know she has great things ahead of her. Please contact her. I know I will be contacting her for my children. That is our summer slide video. We thank you for joining us. Details are below. Thanks for another episode of Grit Parent.
Have a great summer.
Home, sir. Louis, sir.
Good. Hey.